Obviously, you knew the strike was going on. Did you just think you were largely insulated because he was on FMLA?
100%. Yes.
The state of New York has followed through on its threat to cancel the health insurance of striking corrections officers who refuse to go back to work. But it appears it's also dropped some officers who were nowhere near the picket line. As News 10 NBC investigative reporter Jennifer Lukey shows us, one local family in the middle of a medical crisis had their coverage cut.
Rachel is fighting a rare and terminal illness. Her husband is a corrections officer at Attica, but has been out on family medical leave to care for her and their kids. Earlier this week, they started hearing from some of his coworkers about insurance problems.
So I called our health insurance immediately, and they said, yes, it was terminated, and it was backdated to February 19th. I said, backdated? How could that even be a thing? We're paid through till March 15th. And they couldn't give us really any more information. They guided us to talk to, human resources at the facility.
They called the prison right away.
She said, if you can get it here by 4 p.m., that would be great. My husband got the papers together, but my doctor literally filled them out immediately for him. He turned around, took him back to the facility. They refused to take the FMLA paperwork from him.
So without insurance?
I was supposed to be going to New York for chemo on Friday. We had to cancel that.
Obviously, you knew the strike was going on. Did you just think you were largely insulated because he was on FMLA?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So was he ever asked to come in? Was he ever given a letter that said you have to be back by this date?
No, he was not.
You got no paperwork whatsoever?
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What happens from here? So you've already canceled the chemo appointment you had for later this week?
Yes.
And have you been able to reach anyone higher up than the prison?
We have reached out to numerous places. We've gone to all kinds of legislators, senators. I've sent my story to multiple places to let them know what's going on. I did put in a grievance with NSCOBA, which is supposed to be the union that is supposed to protect him. He does pay union dues. Whether we have heard nothing back.
Apparently, they're not the only ones complaining. NYSCOBA says others who were on leave and not on the picket line are part of the 5,300 families who've lost coverage.
If they're out on workman's comp or medical leave, they don't have the documentation to go back, so we have our law firm looking into it and pushing for our members.
On Monday, this is what the Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Services said about cutting health insurance benefits for COs.
That anyone on FMLA, anyone on workers' comp, anyone who was ordered back to work but had a valid reason that they had to remain out or or would have to come in and then go back out, we would deal with those on a case-by-case basis in an expedited way, and we would make sure that people who legitimately couldn't work weren't penalized.
But clearly that is not happening in every case. So I reached back out to both of those commissioners and the governor's office. A spokesman for corrections insists that they will work with folks who were on leave on a case-by-case basis to reinstate insurance if they can provide that their absence isn't strike related and is medically necessary. I'm told docs reached out to prison superintendents across the state today to make sure that they know they should be reviewing each and every one of these cases one by one, Deanna, to make sure that situations like this don't happen. And I'm told that this will happen with this family in Attica.
But what about the lack of notice? I mean, weren't they obligated to at least notify them before they did it?
Yeah, you would think so. The Department of Corrections tells me the way they got the notice out was to tell all of us that it was going to happen. They robocalled all employees, they claim, and they set up a website to let them know who was in jeopardy of losing health benefits. But the letters are still in the mail.
Wow.
I'm told they went out in the last couple of days, so people wouldn't have known that. And that is sort of indicative of how information is coming out about this strike. We were told on Monday that if you were AWOL for 10 days, if you were on the picket line and you didn't show up, you were going to be let go on the 11th day.
Right.
Well, so far, only 20 people have been fired by the state, totally. And so, we know there are still thousands of people out on strike. So there's just not a clear, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. happen, you know.
Absolutely.
And now this has happened with the health insurance, and there are folks who are sort of getting stuck in the middle here, and it's kind of a mess.
It is kind of a mess. Yeah, that sums it up. I know you'll stay on top of it.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.